Merry Christmas, everyone. Today's What If, in a way it sorta relates to gifting something. I guess this would be Elder Kai gifting Goku with a new power. So, Christmassy enough. I made a short about this a while ago, but let's expand it. Today's scenario is pretty simple. What if Goku got his potential unlocked? And this would be before the Tournament of Power because it was actually suggested right before that. So, it's something that could have easily happened. But how would it affect everything? Let's begin. Just like normal, before the Tournament of Power, Elder Kai offers to do this for Goku. Goku declines because he'd rather just work for the power. That way it'll actually feel like he earned it. It could be interesting to get his potential unlocked, but he doesn't really need it. Although the change here is that Beerus is the one to push him to do so. But Goku tells Beerus it won't be that easy. It's going to take 24 hours to do it. But Shin suggests something pretty interesting, which kind of takes Goku off because that was the perfect excuse. He remembers the Room of Spirit and Time. Why not just go in there for a little bit and do that? So they're able to do that. Elder Kai goes into the Room of Spirit and Time with Goku, and he's not going to be doing much training in there. He's going in there just for the ritual, which shouldn't be too bad. And as you'd probably expect, this ritual is not going to take long at all. A year in the time chamber takes a day on the outside, so a day on the inside is only going to take a few minutes on the outside. About 4 minutes to be exact. Although knowing Goku, he might even need a bit longer, which isn't too big of an issue. Even then, it would only be an extra few minutes on the outside. And it's not just because he's taking extra time to do more of the ritual, but because he actually wants to see what he could do with this new power. Testing out for a little bit in there, but deciding he'd rather save this for the tournament instead of just training with it in here. There's no point pushing himself too hard, and he might as well wait for the tournament to actually do it. You know, just to get some rest beforehand. But he tests it out with Elder Kai just to see how to draw this power out. He kinda remembers how Gohan did it, so he tries to do the same thing. He powers up. His aura looks like it's Super Saiyan Blue, but Goku can feel that he hasn't changed yet. He feels godly ki coursing through him, but it's not like he transformed. But he does feel a huge power spike, a crazy spike of power that he hasn't felt. And as he continues powering up, his aura then morphs into something really strange. For a brief moment, his eyes even turn silverish. But with one last explosion of power, the aura then just reverts to a normal white aura. Elder Kai was knocked back by this, but he gets up and sees that Goku looks, well, pretty much like Gohan did. It looks like Goku's in base, but his hair is spiked up. And Goku finds this amazing. This form is basically all of his potential drawn out. So it's basically drawing out all the latent power he had in Super Saiyan Blue and then some. He didn't think it would actually be above that, but the way it works for him in this scenario, this truly is his ultimate form. He can't believe the power that's in it. And since Super treats this as a transformation rather than a state of being, Goku de-transforms back into base, still not believing what he just felt. Following this, nothing happens up until the tournament, although the fight between Goku and Frieza goes a little bit differently, and by that I mean it's the first time Goku actually uses Ultimate, and he's able to knock Frieza out while being unfazed by his attacks. He can tell Frieza's grown a lot stronger, but Frieza doesn't realize how strong Goku's grown. Also, Gohan would be pretty interested to see this too. It's the same exact form that he has, although it's way above where he is right now. Gohan looks forward to pushing himself in the tournament, but doesn't know if he could reach that level. And as for Vegeta, he's a bit curious. He also wouldn't have liked to use that same thing, since it looks like Goku is basically pressured into it by Beerus. But of course he'll be curious to see how strong Goku truly is. Right now he doesn't really want it, but if the boost really is that huge, maybe he'll consider it. The Tournament of Power begins, and right away, Goku tries to fight an Ultimate. Surprisingly enough, it's not really that draining. Despite the power that it's drawing out, it actually feels more efficient than Blue if anything, which is weird. But ever since Goku had his potential unlocked, he's been feeling something strange. And he sees more of this during the tournament too. He of course feels a lot stronger in general, but his body's also doing some strange things, like moving on its own it seems. He remembers in the fight with Frieza, right when they're about to land their final blows on each other. For some reason, Goku's body darted away from Frieza's attack. He still was able to land his punch on Frieza, but Frieza missed him completely. And sure, he did take some attacks from Frieza before, but a lot of them, Goku dodged them unintentionally. He feels like he's in a weird sort of haze, but doesn't know how to explain it. In one of his first fights against the Trio of Danger, he sees more of this too. And here it's even more apparent. With how much slower they are compared to him, his body is dodging automatically and it's a lot faster. They don't land a single hit on him. Vegeta watches on curious to see what's happening, and Beerus watches from the stands too very intently. Not long after this, basically the entirety of Universe 9 jumps Goku. But while in Ultimate, he's dodging all their attacks with no effort at all. Beerus turns to Whis asking if this is what he thinks it is. And Whis says he's not sure. He's been hoping Goku could work towards that for a while, but he doesn't think it's Ultra Instinct. Although, if Goku maybe was on the cusp of Ultra Instinct, maybe having his potential unlock actually helped him a bit. Of course, Whis and Beerus don't know for sure. But originally from what we know, Goku actually needed some sort of catalyst to unlock Ultra Instinct, which was him falling into the Spirit Bomb. So theoretically, it could have been a dormant power within there too. And instead of having Goku nearly die to get it, having his potential unlock could be the catalyst for that too. Of course, it's not like he unlocks it right away, but it's not really so dormant anymore. And this becomes really apparent in his battle with Jiren. When they first fight, Goku cycles through all of his forms just to get a gauge of Jiren's power, and he stands a much better chance here. He goes all the way up to Blue Kaioken, but once he reaches Blue Kaioken, he just powers back down into base, surprising Jiren. Why did he de-transform? But he tells Jiren this is actually his final form, at least for the time being. It doesn't look too different from base, but he's an Ultimate right now. and the two of them start dueling. Ultimate's actually able to carry him really far like this. Jiren is still heavily suppressed, but Ultimate Goku here might actually be enough to push Jiren to be a little more serious. Not to his full power, not even close right now. But with this type of power, he might be able to push Jiren like the Spirit Bomb did, without actually having to use the Spirit Bomb. And this is his first challenge after unlocking Ultimate, which pushes him to something really strange. He feels that odd feeling again, but it feels even more present. It's a strange sense of calmness. He has no emotion in his body at all. His aura suddenly changes from that white one back to that weird one Elder Kai saw beforehand, and his hair is no longer spiked up. It falls down and starts flowing, and that same silver glint in his eyes is back. It's a slight change in appearance, but a huge change in power. Goku has no clue what's going on. This isn't his ultimate form. This is something else. Amidst his confusion, Jiren tries to attack him, but Goku's body automatically dodges the attack, and they continue battling. Now, hypothetically, Goku should be able to use the power of Ultra Instinct with an Ultimate too, whether because Ultimate actually draws out his potential, or because Ultra Instinct is actually a technique that can be used with different forms, like we saw in the Granola arc. Ultra Instinct is drawn out as his own power essentially here, with Goku briefly being able to use it to fight Jiren, although it doesn't really last too long, and that's for two reasons. For one, Ultimate just acted as a catalyst to bring it out. That doesn't mean he's going to be able to maintain this form. And two, Jiren is still above him and able to beat him here, although he's going to be in way better shape than he was when he originally got Ultra Instinct in the main story, because for this one, he didn't have to fall into a Spirit Bomb and nearly die for it. So that's at least an upside. Goku isn't too worn out, and he still actually gets to use UI for a bit. Throughout the rest of the tournament, Goku continues to use Ultimate to fight other people, but tries to get Ultra Instinct once more, of course. He can't fight Jiren just yet, but thankfully, he doesn't need too much time to recover. Again, not falling to the Spirit Bomb is a huge upside for him. He has his fight with Kale and Caulifla, and it goes a lot easier than before. He's stronger and has more energy and isn't as injured. He doesn't even have to use Super Saiyan 2 against them. And he could just be using Ultimate, but he uses Super Saiyan just so they can have a battle with these forms. When they fuse into Kefla, this does push Goku into using Ultra Instinct again. He doesn't need as much of a push as normal, but he does need a little bit of a push to get back into it. And as you'd probably expect, this leads to Kefla being defeated much more easily. He actually probably could have done this in Ultimate alone. As we go through the rest of the tournament, not too much is going to change. Any fight that Goku's in is going to be a lot easier than normal. And this leads us to the final battle with Jiren. When Goku, Vegeta, and 17 face Jiren together at first, with Frieza also hiding away somewhere, 17 doesn't need a fake sacrifice to actually save Goku. Instead, Goku's able to go into Ultra Instinct and protect the two of them. And this time it's different. He goes into Omen at first, but something else changes. His hair flickers into a silver color. His power far exceeds where it was before, eclipsing Ultimate and the other Ultra Instinct form. And there's no doubt about it. The remaining gods can clearly see. This is the complete version of Ultra Instinct, the real one. With all the things that have gone differently so far, it's pretty safe to say that Goku's going to beat Jiren here. He was able to win originally, but he dropped out of it. Here he's going to have a much easier time beating Jiren, and he's not going to drop out of the form because he has much more energy left over. Jiren is eliminated, and the tournament basically finishes from this, with more people left in the ring. Goku, Vegeta, 17, and Frieza are all still there. Although the latter three didn't really do too much in the final battle because it was all Goku versus Jiren. They were basically trying their hardest to stay in the ring. So the tournament opens up a few interesting things. For one, they obviously see that Goku has Ultra Instinct. Sure, Ultimate's great and all, but he already surpassed that. He wonders if this is something that was already innate within him, or if he only unlocked Ultra Instinct because of Ultimate. It's strange because it feels like he can't use the two together, which he expected. When you think about it, this didn't really change too much of the tournament. It really is just a power boost for Goku and an easier way for him to get Ultra Instinct. But the tournament did go like normal essentially. And Vegeta's wondering the same thing as Goku. Was he able to unlock that great power because of Ultimate, or was it because he's Goku? Probably a mix of both. Following this we have the Broly movie, and there is actually a big change here. Broly eventually does go into Super Saiyan, but Goku's having an easier time keeping up. He's notably above Vegeta at this point and way above where he was in the normal movie. And instead of cycling through all his forms, he eventually goes into Ultimate just to stop Broly. He obviously can see that Broly's not a bad guy, but he could also tell that Broly's out of control right now, and the only way to stop him is to actually just beat him here. Although Ultimate might not be enough to fight Super Saiyan Broly. It's good enough to keep up for a little bit, but Goku suddenly starts feeling that same weird feeling that he felt during the tournament. Completely unintentionally, against Broly, Goku's able to go into Ultra Instinct. This time it was easier than normal. He didn't need a huge catalyst for it. He already has unlocked it, and he did want to go into it. He knows the feeling for it, but he was basically pushed to this by Broly. Broly tries to blindly attack Goku, but none of his attacks land, and even the ones that do, Goku just parries them with ease. He thanks Broly for pushing him this far. He hopes they could fight together soon, but under better circumstances. As Frieza and Vegeta watch on from the sidelines, they could tell immediately what's happening. With Whis also glad to see that Goku's using this again, and he's seemingly using it much more easily than before. Before Broly can grow any stronger, Goku's able to knock him out completely. Of course, Frieza's furious, but also he knows he's probably not going to win here, especially with Goku using that same form from before. He was hoping that Broly would just do the job, but it doesn't seem like it. He rushes to his ship to try and leave Earth, but at the front of his ship, someone's there to stop him. It's Vegeta. And Vegeta's not going to make the same mistake he did when Frieza was revived before. He powers up immediately into Blue Evolution. and before Frieza even has a chance to go into Golden, Vegeta charges a powerful attack. Across the battlefield, Goku stands there over Broly as he goes down into base. And then he sees a beam of light fly across the sky as Vegeta launches a Gamma Burst Flash, completely eliminating Frieza. Honestly, Goku's not too surprised. Vegeta was complaining about Frieza still being alive beforehand, so this doesn't come as a big shock to him. But what are they going to do with Broly? Thankfully, Chi-Lai and Lemmo are still around too. Chi-Lai and Lemmo don't really like Vegeta and Goku at the moment, but they all stick around on Earth, which is obviously much better than having to retreat to Vampa. Next, we go to the Moro arc. But this arc is going to start really differently. First of all, with Broly being on Earth, he ends up going to Namek with Goku and Vegeta. Although Beerus is kind of concerned because this could be a risk, especially with how strong they're telling him Broly is. That could leave more energy for Moro to absorb. But Moro actually isn't going to be that tough to fight. He's able to show up something special to Beerus on the ship. He can't really maintain it for too long, but willingly, he taps into Ultra Instinct Omen. He has to thank Elder Kai for this actually. Ultimate seems to be his strongest normal form, the one that he can use willingly as long as he likes. But now he has this level above it too. If he's pushed into Ultra Instinct, he goes into the Silvertear version of it. But he can't just willingly transform into it, although with more practice, he's able to go into Omen willingly, which absolutely astounds Beerus. When they actually get to Namek too, this makes for a much easier battle against Moro. Goku being able to willingly transform into Omen makes it so he could actually fight Moro, just like he did in the original story later on in the arc. Of course, he still has to make it fast, especially because he can't maintain this form for too long. He uses Ultimate at first, but then he realizes he's going to need to use Ultra Instinct. And since he makes it very quick, they're actually able to defeat Moro here. Broly watches on intently the entire time, amazed at Goku's power, but Vegeta's feeling the same thing, and he feels like he might be a little bit behind. It's time for him to do something too. He could get his potential unlocked by Elder Kai, but also he wants to try and look for something different. So this sends him down sort of a different path. Now next there would be the Granola arc, but nothing's going to happen here. Without Frieza, it's business as usual for Granola and the Heaters. They're still out there, but none of the events are set in motion that were normally set in motion. And without Frieza, this means Broly doesn't need to hide anywhere. He actually lives on Earth. Although he probably wouldn't be on Beerus' planet. He wasn't really welcome at first, and the only reason Broly stayed was because Chi-Lai and Lemmo made a good impression on Beerus. And those two aren't going to be there because they're not going to be hiding there. So Broly might not even be on the planet. We have a time skip too as we go into the events of Superhero. It actually starts out fairly normally. And everything goes pretty much the same up to the point where Gohan's fighting the Gammas. Piccolo even gets his potential unlocked. He would have loved to have Elder Kai do it, but Shenron does it because it's much faster and much more convenient. And amidst this battle, Piccolo's about to be defeated by Gamma 2, but someone else arrives on the scene. It's Broly. Goku and Vegeta are on Beerus' planet at the moment, but Broly of course sensed this all going on, not knowing who they were fighting because he couldn't sense the androids. He and Piccolo fight together against Gamma 2, as Gohan still continues to face Gamma 1, but they eventually learn of what's actually happening here. So Piccolo doesn't unlock Orange right away, but it's still in there. Cell Max awakens, and now Piccolo's really wishing he was able to teleport Goku and Vegeta here. He wasn't able to get in contact with them before, but maybe with Broly helping them out now, this could actually work. The two of them are pretty busy on Beerus' planet right now. As they battle Cell Max, nothing seems to work. But there's one big change during the battle. A few minutes later than normal, Piccolo unlocks Orange for the first time. Although this still isn't going to be enough to counter Cell Max. They are a bit worried about Broly. He can access some of his power thanks to Goku having trained him a lot longer. But they're worried he might go berserk if he uses his true strength. He's actually using Wrathful and is able to control it at the moment. But they need more of a push. Piccolo and Broly go to fight Cell Max, with Gohan standing back to charge an attack. Gamma 2 is also about to sacrifice himself, but with Broly there, he waits a bit, just to see what they can do against Cell Max first. Broly and Piccolo act as the main powerhouses, as Gohan watches nearby trying to charge some energy, but this does lead to Piccolo's defeat. Broly fights with the others, but he's really the only one doing anything right now. But Piccolo's defeat is enough to push Gohan over the edge, and also Broly at the same time, with his anger overflowing. In one part of the battlefield, Broly goes into his Super Saiyan form again, seemingly having some sort of control over it. He begins fighting Cell Max and basically holds him off single-handedly. But Gohan undergoes a strange change too. A beam of energy flies across the battlefield, and they look over to see Gohan standing there in a much different form. With Piccolo getting back up and telling everyone to leave, Cell Max explodes. But thanks to this battle, 3 of them were able to unlock new power here. Piccolo got his Orange form, Broly went into Super Saiyan again, and Gohan got his Beast form. And Gamma 2 ends up surviving. But Piccolo wonders why Goku and Vegeta couldn't make it here. Shouldn't they have sensed everything? Well, they would have, if they weren't having an all-out battle against each other right now. The two of them are fighting together on Beerus' planet, without Broly there obviously. By now, Vegeta's unlocked his own new power, and he didn't need his potential unlocked for it. Goku still doesn't really like the fact that he got some power handed to him, but it doesn't really matter. Now he's working towards Ultra Instinct, and it's his. The more he works with it, the more he makes it his own. And it feels earned, especially now in this full power battle against Vegeta, who has Ultra Ego. And this is where we end off our scenario. So as you can tell, this is one of the more realistic scenarios. It essentially amounts to Goku getting a huge boost in power, and the results that follow from that. I don't necessarily think it would have changed too much, but I think it was still fun to cover. Let me know what you guys think below. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.